Hello, I'm Steven,
And I'm Aaron.
and we've just seen
Mercy.
Mercy, new film that's out in theaters right now, starring Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson, and it is directed by Tamar Bekmambetoff. Okay, so in a futuristic Los Angeles setting, the Mercy Capital Court has a very interesting way of doling out justice. Violent criminals are bound to a chair and are given 90 minutes to use an AI judge's vast library of resources to clear their name. If they cannot clear their name within 90 minutes, they die.
Everyone is automatically assumed of guilt, and their job is to prove their innocence.
Yeah, in this world, it's guilty until proven innocent. And if you can't clear your name altogether, you at least have to lower your level of guilt to about 92% marked down from 100, or 99, I think it was. Chris Pratt, who plays a guy named Chris, so I will just refer to him as Chris Pratt throughout this review, he is on trial for murdering his wife, but he maintains he did not do it, so he is in the chair being presided over by Judge Maddox, played by Rebecca Ferguson. This was a big piece of shit.
Yeah, this was pretty bad. Um, I was very excited to watch this because, judging from the trailers and the awful poster of Chris Pratt sitting in what looks to be like a wheelchair, it's like the strangest looking thing ever. The trailers made this look like late '90s, early 2000s schlock, and I think that's pretty much what we got out of this.
I was not too excited to see this, and judging by the limited resources that seemed to be utilized in the trailer with Chris Pratt just sitting in a chair against a green screen, I was under the impression that this was shot during COVID and was just shelved for 5 years. But no, they shot it in 23, I think it was. So this is a new film. However, after watching it, I thoroughly enjoyed myself because this is one of those so bad it's good movies, I guess you could say. Not good by any stretch of the imagination, but it's thoroughly entertaining from beginning to end because at every turn the movie defies logic.
Yes,
It is a film that feels like it's written by a fourth grader,
yes,
and it's one of those movies where the plot falls apart when you give it just a second's thought and you wonder, how was this not the first thing the
yeah.
screenwriter thought of when they were writing this?
The only note I took while watching it was that this is like the O.J. Simpson trial by way of Speed and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Because the entire time you're watching Chris Pratt interact with this AI judge, it feels like he's on a game show because the judge is always talking like, is this really what you want to? Is this your final answer? Or is this the thing you want to pursue? Is this the question you want to ask? Or their back and forth is, like you said, it's like a fourth grader wrote this. It's so childish. The entire concept is just preposterous because this 90-minute time limit is just like the most arbitrary thing to have to work around because it's not enough time to do anything, as you'll see in the movie.
There's a reason why investigations take weeks. And the ludicrousness of this is put on display numerous times throughout the film. Like there comes points where Chris Pratt thinks he has evidence, but the evidence is like 30 minutes away, so he has to tell a partner to get on a floating device
Yeah,
to beat the traffic. So it's
the
like,
movie
what?
has to write around its own like logical inconsistencies in its time limit.
Yeah, so it's like, what if that evidence bore fruit and he only had 2 minutes left and it was a 30-minute drive? Then he'd be dead. This is stupid.
Yeah, that being said, I think that probably the most enjoyable thing about the movie is Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh yeah, she's great as always.
There's no reason for her to be in a movie like this, but I'm glad she's here because she makes this that much more engaging.
Yeah, even her paycheck roles are worth watching.
Yeah. Part of the point of her character is that the way she judges things is entirely based on like facts as they're presented and statistics and logic. Chris Pratt's whole interaction with her is to try to prove that there's like a human element, and sometimes you have to trust your gut, and people can make mistakes, and the facts aren't always black and white.
Yeah, I do not lie, nor do the facts.
Yeah, one of the weirdest things about the movie is how they talk about Judge Maddox as an unfeeling machine. I'm not designed to have feelings, but judging by the interactions Chris Pratt has with her throughout this entire movie, that's clearly not true. because Rebecca Ferguson plays this like she is just constantly pissed off about everything Chris Pratt says to her.
Yeah, it's like Equilibrium, that shitty movie with Christian Bale. It's supposed to be characters who exhibit no emotion, but they're constantly pissed off and angry.
Yeah, like anytime Chris Pratt criticizes her or the court or the way any of this works, she just has this look of like she wants to push the button herself to just end this whole thing.
Yeah, she's constantly giving him the death glare. So the premise to this thing is utterly ludicrous, and here's one of the biggest issues I had with it, and this is the thing that I can't believe the writer didn't think of this as he was writing it. Here's how this AI works. So you sit in this chair, and you have to prove your innocence, and this AI has access to every phone, every email account, every employee roster,
Every camera.
every cell phone camera. She has access to immense archives and databases that she can scan in seconds. The AI can conduct the investigation
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, the AI should be able to do this within a few seconds if we're talking about the way they process data and how fast they can move. This is another thing that I actually did kind of enjoy is kind of the escalation of the relationship between Chris Pratt and the judge is the closer Chris Pratt seems to be getting to the truth, the more invested the judge starts to become in the case and they start kind of working as a team. But like to your point, if that's the case, how is the judge not able to suss this all out themselves? Like just oh here okay, here's a clue, work from there. It leads me down this path, and then there's another clue here. Oh, and I have a lead on this thing. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Chris Pratt tells the judge, scan all of the cell phone footage from my wife's phone, and then the judge does it. Instead of the judge thinking to do it herself because she's supposed to be an impartial third party, so the judge isn't going to exploit this information for personal gain. The judge is just going to comb everybody's data, looking for evidence that can exonerate the condemned, and then use it, and then that's it. However, Chris Pratt, anyone who's in the chair can access people's bank accounts if he needs. It's like, I think this guy might have been involved. I think he may be in debt. Access his bank account, and the judge will do it. And it's like, well, the person in the chair, they could exploit that information. How is this not on the writer's mind when you're penning this shit?
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Eventually the whole thing kind of starts to spiral out of control and it starts to become more of like an action thriller, which is where I get a little bit of the speed comparisons from. The whole third act of this thing is totally insane. And as far as the mystery goes, in my mind, there was really only ever two suspects, and what we end up finding out happened in the movie is the thing that I thought it was. There were two suspects, and once one of them was cleared, I was like, okay, well, it can really be nobody else.
There's one suspect who was just an obvious red herring. They went out of their way to cast an actor who looks like a demented psychopath, and then it turns out, oh, it was this other person.
Oh, and also just like the writing and the logic, the movie goes out of its way to make its characters stupid and constantly incriminate themselves, even if they have nothing to do with the crime. There's like a whole police chase that happens, and it's not even anybody that has anything to do with it. But it's like, oh, okay, well, why did this character even run? Why are we having a police chase when this guy's not guilty of anything?
Yeah, and speaking of incriminating yourself, Chris Pratt, his character is a stupid human being.
Yeah, it's just a horrible protagonist.
It's not unfounded that people might suspect him for murder because we very quickly come to realize that he's a short-tempered boozer who can't lay off the drink.
Yeah,
And he knows that all the world is surveilled. He's a supporter of this mercy program, but he's constantly incriminating himself in front of cameras.
hmm
Like when he gets testy with his wife, he smacks the camera that's surveilling him. It's like, people can see this asshole.
yeah. And also, like, kind of the messaging on AI is extremely weird because it seems like they're trying to take the position that AI is not going anywhere, so the best way to proceed is to use it as a tool, like kind of working together with it. But then it's also like, well, you can clear yourself of murder if only you have access to everyone's data in the world. If only we have access to everyone's phone records, video conversations, text messages, emails, bank information.
Yeah.
If only we had a little more of everyone's data, we could make crime go away.
Is this funded by Elon Musk?
Yeah, the AI messaging is extremely weird and poorly written. And Chris Pratt's got to be given one of his worst performances.
Yeah. Chris Pratt looking for a paycheck.
Yeah, it felt very Ice Cube in
War of the
War of the
Worlds. Yeah,
Worlds.
I was thinking of that all throughout this.
He's just he's sitting in a chair the whole movie, so he's got nothing to work off of.
Oh, and the camera, because it's just Chris Pratt sitting his ass on a chair. The camera has to try to do a lot of the dramatic work by
Yeah.
like shifting around and whoosh and pulling back and doing all these crazy angles, and then for the sake of theatricality, the AI judge has Chris Pratt basically on a green screen, so any
Hmm.
video footage that she's projecting can appear as like a hologram in the world that he's in. So it's immersive. It's like a theme park ride.
Yeah, yeah. That's the best way to describe it. It's a trial as a theme park ride, like one of those Star Tour things or something.
Yeah, you get to participate in a little theme park while you escape room your ass out of
Yeah,
justice.
yeah. Not a very good movie. Very entertaining though. Lots of laughs to be had.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed watching this piece of shit. So, what is your final number rating on a scale of 1 to 10?
I feel like this is either a 4 or a 6. It's only a 6 because of how enjoyable it is to watch, but it's only enjoyable because of how bad it is, which is where the 4 comes in. It's very poorly written, poorly acted. Thank God for Rebecca Ferguson. Yeah, I don't know, a 4 or a 6. I can't really decide.
I'm going even lower than that. I'm
Wow.
I'm gonna give this a 2.
Come on.
The script is so brain dead, so logic
It
deficient.
is.
This movie is written by people who think that the masses are thinking impaired. Everything, nothing about this premise works. The logic falls apart with even a nanosecond of thought. Its only redeeming factor is that it's constantly funny. That's one point, and Rebecca Ferguson. That's the other point. So I give this a 2.
Okay, well, there you go.
So that's Mercy. If you have taste, then have mercy on yourself and don't see it. But if you just want to laugh at a really shitty movie, watch this. This will probably be a movie that you get a bunch of friends together to sit down and watch. So you might as well watch it on a big screen.